I'll do.
I'll do.
So, Carl, I'll put a link to his story. I've had a chat with this geezer before. I'm here today to answer questions. You've got all the questions?
Yep.
These are questions that people who've watched videos have asked. I don't know what the questions are. I think you've got some questions here on.
Yes, a couple.
So laid back. Used to do these question and answers, going to start doing them again. So if you've got some questions for me, you know, and you'd like to meet up and ask me questions on this format, that's what we'll do. Interview going up Sunday. One going up Tuesday, one going up Thursday. And there'll be something posted next weekend. Oh, you want to say, mate, before we get into it?
No, I'm ready straight into it.
You're ready? It's me that needs to be ready, isn't it?
You did it to me.
Yeah, true. Right, fire away. First question.
Right. Are there some prisoners too dangerous to ever get released?
Definitely. Obviously, prisoners that get a whole of life are in prison, as it says, for whole of life.
Like that cousin's he's got one on, and he got all life.
Well,
I agree with that, don't you? Is it Wayne?
You know,
is it Wayne Cousins?
Yeah.
He got all life tariff.
Yeah,
I think,
didn't
he?
Yeah, absolutely. Should have got whole of life.
Mm.
The people who get whole of life aren't necessarily the most dangerous people. It's usually the crimes, how the profile of the crimes and things like that. For instance, Mark Bridger, despicable, horrible creature. I hated him.
Yeah.
You know, murdered a young lass and did untold things, you know, not even repeatable. But there's plenty of people who have killed kids who, you know, might get a tariff of 15 years or whatever. For me, the people you've never heard of would be the most dangerous. And there's people who will get out of prison who will go on to murder and stuff like that. I think of one guy now. It's very classic, this, but it does happen. They start flashing, stuff like that, and career progresses to rape and murder, sadly. You know that's going to happen, but we can't do anything about it. But there's definitely these people who should be kept in the highest secure conditions. What the prison service wants to do with these people, yeah, they don't want people in special units, you know, small group of prisoners, high number of staff. They want to get them back into normal population. Some of these are so dangerous. A lot of the terrorists, you know, threats to kill staff. The fear is that someone like drags a member of staff into a cell and execute them, and it gets uploaded to internet or something like that. Yeah. So there's some proper naughty ones. Crack on.
Right, that leads me to my question. Colin Pitchfork. What do you make of that? He's been returned to prison, hasn't he? Perfect example. Do you think he should have been whole life?
I don't know. I do not follow media out, so I don't even know who he is.
Colin Pitchfork? No, have you not? Ah, right. You see, he got done for the double rape, didn't he? Murder back in the 80s.
Right.
He did 33 years, I think he did. He got released on licence in September.
Yep.
He's been arrested yesterday and sent back to jail because of concerns about his thoughts. What do you think to that?
Again, it's a risky... Right, yeah. It is... I'll tell you about one lad, right? So, there was a lad who's no longer with us now, Eric, yeah? He got locked up in 1966, 4 years after I were born. So I met him at Strangeways. He was Nordley on the healthcare.
Yeah.
Round about 2005, what he got done, manslaughter of his then girlfriend, yeah? Manslaughter charges.
Right.
So he obviously did what? For 34 years. He did 39 years before he got released.
For a manslaughter charge?
Yeah.
How does that work out?
Things used to be different. Look at Great Train Robbers. Look at how many of them there were. Yeah. The train guard died, sadly.
Yeah.
You know, not purposefully, but they all got slammed with 30 years. They went through a period in the 70s and 80s where people were getting 14 years for murder.
Yeah.
So... that guy probably is dangerous. I don't know how he got out.
No, I don't.
If he's only been out a short period of time and people are worrying. But back to Eric, he got out in 2005. He was out 2 years. He did have a life licence, got into a domestic with a girlfriend. Police were called, come back into prison and died in prison.
Bloody hell.
So, you know, it's almost like one rule for one and one rule for other.
Absolutely.
People like him.
I think that's got to be him in for the rest of his life. He's had his chance.
Well, there's also a danger if you've been in that long that you're not going to be normal anyway.
I totally agree with that one.
Yeah, they say if you've been over 10 years, then you're going to struggle to put back in normal population. So,
right, I'll ask my other one now. Then that goes well with that one.
Go on, then.
Charles Bronson, aka Salvador. Do you think he will ever get released? And do you think he should?
Yeah, I do.
You think he will get released?
Yeah, I do think he.
Or is he going to be one that's been in that long? He's going to come out to a busy world. Do you think he's going to?
Right,
I don't know, do you?
Right, here's the thing about him, right? So he's an armed robber.
Yeah.
I don't know his history inside out or whatever. He's done a lot of stupid things in prison that have added to his prison sentence. Attempt to escape, hostage taking, stuff like that. He's never killed anyone. He was a violent individual, but the system created people like that.
Yeah.
You're
a product of your own environment, they say, don't you? It's he's been in. How long's he been down? 77, was it?
Something like that. He's been in a long
nuts,
time.
Isn't it?
For me, yeah, he should get out. You know, there's way worse than him that get these people. You know, I saw people on healthcare get 15 years for murder and get out and stuff like that. So yeah, he should be out.
Do you think he will get out?
I do.
Yeah.
My concern would be that he'd never get no peace because everyone's going to want to interview him.
Do you think they'll get idiots having a pop at him as well because of who he is? Do you think you always get some kind of... Or not?
Maybe not now because of his age or whatever, but, you know, somebody like that needs to retire to the country or something.
Yeah.
But people will be wanting to interview him.
Pictures of him, won't they?
Yeah, of course they will. Yeah, I can't even imagine what it was like.
No.
But yeah, I think he should get out.
Good one. Did you often take the job home with you?
I said no. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
You can't not with something like that,
I always said it at work, leave it at the gate. A lot of people I work with said they left it at the gate. You know, listening to our last, no, yeah, I did take it home. I was unaware I was taking it home. Moody, angry, miserable, not grateful when she'd done things, stuff like that. I think it makes you selfish.
Yeah.
But I didn't see it. It needed my missus to point it out, and deeply upsetting. You know, when your loved one tells you that basically it was horrible, then it's not good, is it?
No, it's not. It's not. How often did prisoners try to convince you of their innocence?
Quite often.
Yeah.
A lot of them would talk about what they'd actually done, and it did get escalate. What do I mean by that? I remember one lad, cheeky chap, I'd known him a long time, since he was 18. He went on a robbery. He went on a robbery to a pub with somebody else, his so-called mate. Yeah, he took a couple of bats. It was the landlord was an handy lad. He had them both off. Like he said, we'd have probably got caught, but his mate had a shooter. He weren't aware of that. I do believe him.
Right.
Shot the landlord. It wasn't. Shot him in the leg. Weren't life-threatening. They got off. When they got arrested, his mate basically went. He took the gun. He shot him. There's a lot of that going on. A lot of grassing.
Yeah, seems so, mate. Yeah.
Within the criminal circles. But there's also lads who are quite definitely innocent.
Yeah.
A lot of lads who had a criminal history would take a 3-5 year sentence rather than risk a 12.
Yeah.
So, and they would tell him, you could tell, yeah, I did that, Miss Samworth. You know, I am an armed robber. No, I didn't do that. However, if I'd have run a trial, the threat of a 12 or a 5.
Yeah, it's not what. Yeah.
And we had 2 twins. I saw both of them inside at one point. I think they were both in together at one point. One of them filled someone in quite bad. Caught his missus with somebody, filled him in, filled her in.
Filled her in as well?
Yeah, on camera.
On camera?
No, on camera. Video evidence.
Bloody hell.
They're identical twins. They both got lifted. They both kept stum, didn't say anything. The judge said, right, I know it was one of you. If you don't tell me who it was, I'm going to pick one. That's what he did, and he got the wrong one.
Never.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
People have said that to me, that's bullshit. It's not bullshit.
Yeah, I can imagine it is right,
and his brother was very angry. You know, he said at the point when they went, right, you know, he thought his brother had gone, no, it was me, but he didn't.
You see, I would have done. I wouldn't have let my brother sit in jail for something I'd have done, but that's me.
There you go.
Right. Are there many prisoners that you felt genuinely fearful of being around? Or you thought were absolute nutcases?
Reputation's big in prison.
Yeah.
They had some big units and some big hitters on the Cat A unit, but also around the jail. For me, I didn't know a lot about a lot of people. I've always said this, if there were a jail in Sheffield and I were in there,
you'd know it.
I'd know big hitters, so you'd be fearful that way. Fearful of some because of who they are, and the contacts on the out. But yeah, some were very intimidating and pretty scary. And some of the people I come across who were mentally unwell, mental illness, were scary in their unpredictability.
Yeah.
So yeah, quite definitely.
Next question. Do you see some old faces returning to prison? It's like a revolving door, isn't it? They say some of them.
It was. Sadly, a lot of young offenders. So at Forest Banks, that's 18 to 21 year old. YPs they call, young persons or whatever. I don't know, 40 or 50. See them at Strangeways. Some on Cat A unit. They all sort of escalated. So they went from petty crime to, well, most of them armed robbers, to be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, you do. And then if you look in the sort of drug detox wing and that, just endless, coming 3 months, out 3 months, in 3 months. It was literally, some of them lads on there, my sort of age, had done like 50 sentences. So it's obviously working, innit? Not.
Right, next one. Do you think non-violent offenders should be in prison?
Oh, good question. It's back to cost and what we're doing. So I am aware there's always victims. Some people definitely shouldn't be sent to prison. Whoever thought up community service, it would have been done right and policed right. I.e., right, you've got 12 months community service, you either turn up regular, you do what's expected of you or whatever, or you are going to prison for that. You know, if it were done right in the community, yeah, we do send a lot of people to prison. I've just said, the addicts, sadly now, I know a lot of them people, drugs and alcohol, because of what happened as childhood, abuse, stuff like that. My own personal friends, there's that many of them sort of come out, as it were. Some of them who've been to prison and they've had abusive backgrounds and that, and turned to drugs and alcohol. It's definitely wrong. I had this, somebody the other day asked me about building new prisons. You know, maybe we ought to be expanding our mental health facilities rather than building new prisons.
Totally agree with that. 100%
so, you know,
agree.
you just send everyone to prison.
Yeah.
You know, the amount of people I know have never had treatment or counselling for abuse and stuff like that is horrendous.
So there's a lot of mental health sufferers in jail, isn't there?
There is not enough places in the community and mental health psychiatric hospitals for people, yeah? So for the safety of the public, you send them to prison. Because what we are good at is keeping them locked up, which keeps the public safe.
Just throw them in a room and think, fuck them. Yeah, that's true. Next question. What do they do at prison then when there's a genuine attempt at an escape? Do they lock it down or?
Right. Cat A prisons, high security. Then you have Cat B locals. Then you have Cat C's and Cat D's.
Yep.
Cat D is an open prison, you abscond. You can literally walk out.
Every day, isn't it? Yeah, nuts.
I doubt very much anyone would get out of a Cat C prison in modern times. So if you look, most prison escapes are engineered outside. So I've come across a dozen people who've got off. It's either escorts going out, so either to hospital, funerals, stuff like. So when they talk about prison escapes now, it's outside the walls.
Wasn't the one there Strangeways not long back where they're on the way and they come with guns, didn't they?
Yeah, they've had a few.
But it's Salford, that wasn't it, on High Street?
Well, that Paul from Forest Bank, you know, his first week in job escorting a prisoner to hospital. Stopped literally 100 metres from prison. Pull door, shotgun, boom, gone.
Yeah, it's fucking...
So, the fear has always been anywhere in prison. If somebody gets a firearm in prison, that is a next level because it's always about preserving life. So, people do get off from escorts and stuff like that, court vans and the like, but especially in modern times, I don't think anyone's getting out of prison.
No, definitely not. So much CCTV as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
Right, this is a good one. Should the community get more of a say on what a convicted criminal can do once they're released?
Good one. Okay, let's look at the classic sex offenders. There's a lot of emotion around sex offenders for obvious reasons, you know, paedophiles and rapists and the like. It's about risk management. We know that statistics are there to show these people will offend again. Vast majority of them. Tagging, permanent tagging, you know, people now are campaigning that people shouldn't be on the sex offenders register forever and things like that. It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because
yeah,
I'll tell you what happened East Dean in Rotherham. East Dean, like, it's a tough area, working class area.
Yeah.
There was a known paedophile who was coming back to community. The police, bobbies and that, were told in no uncertain terms if he returned, you know, back to the family home, as it were.
He's had it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was, I'm not condoning this, but he was, he came back in the community. I believe people within the community had a collection, and basically he was put in a wheelchair for life. He was unable to walk after that. You know, that's like vigilante mentality, but
good. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's
about what people need to understand, right? It's about risk management. So when you're talking about probation, monitoring people and supervising them, they're not.
No.
I've said this before. You could go from an armed robbery to your probation appointment. They only know what you're telling them.
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah.
You know, tagging's a good idea. It has been made a bit of a joke with people getting off and stuff like that. However, if it's done properly, there's people who want monitoring in the community and will be a threat to people in that community.
Yep.
Does that answer the question?
Absolutely. Next question. Is there any hierarchy on a prison wing?
Yeah. So there's people who run wings.
Yeah.
You wouldn't necessarily always know. Like I said, you know the Jack the lads are, you know who the Ard lads are, crime families and the like.
Yeah.
Most wings, if I take Forest Bank, it was quite obvious there. You got to know people. You got to know who people are, because there was only 2 of you on a wing. You got to know the dynamics of the wing, and you know, you might have a lad from Salford who was a big drug dealer, got a lot of influence, and he'd have a say what was going on the wing.
Yeah.
If, for instance, we had one who had a piss test, got a positive piss test, got moved off the wing, someone will replace him.
Right.
As a normal person going into prison, if you keep your head down, don't bother, you know, you're not a bully,
involving yourself,
yeah, then you wouldn't necessarily know who they are.
Yeah.
There's like, I hate this word, but there is like movers and shakers.
Yeah. Yeah, you can imagine.
So quite definitely. But there's also some of these guys who'll be up to no good, but they have a calming influence as well.
Yeah.
You know, K-Wing in particular get some gang members, some of the older gang members, you know, just have a quiet word and they'd keep a lid on things, so.
Right, yep. Next question. Do prisoners often burgle each other's cells?
Pad thieves are looked down on.
Absolutely, yeah.
I caught a lad on K-Wing, stood chatting, watched him. He was a known pad thief. He went in someone's cell with nothing, and he come out with a towel full of stuff. It was during association, so a lot of people out went, "What are you doing, you?" So he started gobbing off at me, went round, ended up dropping towel, all stuff, all the wings, so put him behind his door, moved him off the wing that night.
Would he have been if it, yeah.
Well, I definitely got filled in.
Would he? Yeah.
Yeah, when I was at Forest Bank, there was a lad who, he was an unusual one. There was about 4 brothers. They were all proper hard bastards. They were a handful in prison, even more of an handful out. When I was on F-Wing before I left, stood out landing on my own like you would be, other officer, new officer. Anyway, people in and out of this cell, ended up having a walk down. One lad come out who I knew from Wigan, went in cell. Now this, I've told this lad were a tough bastard, proper hard bastard. He's laid on the floor. Yeah, his shirt had obviously been fighting, shirt's off, ripped. His face is a mess, and it looked like about 4 ribs were stuck out of his. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bad. He was in a bad way. I went, "Do we need to get you a nurse?" "No, boss." I obviously got a nurse. He ended up going to hospital. When I come out, went straight to the cell. The lad knew and said, "Pad thief." That's it.
Good deal. So there is punishments for stuff like that, obviously.
He got battered in cell. When they went back and looked, I don't know. Initially about 4, 5, 6 lads went in, and then people going in a couple at a time.
Yeah. And giving him a beating.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. That's a question that I can ask then. Do prison officers sometimes turn a blind eye to stuff like that? To a beating as if it's like a paedophile, a sex offender? You hear about it, I don't know how true it is.
Paedophile sex offenders, right, are normally kept together on a wing. I'll tell you at Forest Bank again.
Yeah.
Because it did happen. 1 or 2 staff would bubble someone as being a sex offender. When I first started at Forest Bank, there was no VP wing, vulnerable prisoners.
Yeah.
We did have sex offenders in there, so they'd literally make a story up, yeah?
Yep.
1 or 2 officers bubble people. One officer, I can remember, he was an horrible bastard, proper bully, big lad, proper bully. He was having trouble with a prisoner because he was giving him shit, and the prisoner basically turned around and said, "Don't think because you're a big lad or whatever, I'm going to be pushed around. You're going to take this out of me."
Yeah.
He bubbled this lad to some other lads, saying he was a sex offender. He got a good kick in, ended up in a coma in hospital. He weren't a sex offender. He just.
You see, it's a dirty trick, innit, to do that.
It's not on.
No, it's not on, mate. It's not.
There is people who've done that.
No, that's not. So
most people, and I've got to say this, most prison officers I know, if there was something going on, whatever, they will get stuck in.
Yeah.
You know, if someone were getting filled in a cell, they get stuck in. You don't know always what's going on. I remember going in a cell on K-Wing, about 8 kids, all staff ended up fighting with these 8 kids. The lad in there had a phone up his jacksie.
Yeah.
They knew it, that's what they were after.
The phone, yeah.
Vast majority of officers wouldn't ignore anything, although there were a percentage that would ignore...
Just for an easy life?
Everything. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. How often do you find real currency in prison?
Not very often. Say if you got money in prison, there's a problem. When I went at Forest Bank, we found $3,000.
In one cell, though?
Yeah, under a pillar in a cell. So what we were looking under the pillar for, you wouldn't normally do that. So my mate, I can remember the lad as well. They were a lad who, he had a very pretty girlfriend who my mate knew on the out.
Yeah.
Tasteful pictures of her. So he was in the cell. Sat on the bed like chatting, stood up, and as he stood up he'd moved a pillar, $3,000. We reported it to security manager went, "What have you phoned me for?" Like, "What do you mean?" He says, "Well, why don't you just pocket it?"
Fucking hell, eh?
Yeah, obviously that's but yeah, you don't usually get money, no.
And where did $3,000 go? Did you have to hand it in then?
Yeah.
And what were you doing with it?
I don't know whether they ever got bottom of it. He put in a segregation unit.
So is it against the law then to have money in prison? You're not allowed?
No currency.
No currency at all. No. Right.
But there is money. Money does get in, so it's no good though. You can't buy anything with it.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what they're going to do with it. I don't understand. It's a weird one, is that?
Yeah, definitely.
How are drugs bought and sold in prison?
Usual way. Canteen, so prisoners can buy canteen and stuff like that. Will be exchanged, you know, you give me some drugs, buy this, whatever. A lot of it can be happen on the out. Yeah. So, you know, I know you.
Bank transfers, etc.
Yeah, your missus gives my missus a couple £100, I'll give you whatever. Yep. There's various ways, but make a lot of money in prison, especially now.
Is there a lot of drugs in prison?
Shitloads.
Is there?
Every prison.
Is that down? Do you think it's a lot of corrupt officers bringing it in then? Or?
Yeah, of course there will be now. Corruption will be going through the roof. That's because they're setting a lot of young people on. It's a fact.
Yeah.
A lot of naive people. There's a lot of charmers inside. It's when I was at Forest Bank, right? People have to understand. Staff searches. I was searched about 3 times at Forest Bank.
In the whole duration.
Yeah.
Right.
Strangeways was a different entry procedure because it was high security prison. Yeah. You walk through a portal. You were wandered down. Metal detector. I'd take all your money out of your pockets. Watches off. Belts off. That sort of thing. Boots off. A lot of boots have metal plates in. Yeah, it's not what you think. If you want to take drugs in every day, you could.
It's mad, that, isn't it?
It is. It's mad. It'll be out of control. It'll absolutely be completely out of control now.
I bet you're glad you're out of it, aren't you?
I couldn't go back.
No. Would you not if they were offered you?
I've got friends who said, you know, can all go back and get it back how it was.
Are you tempted?
No. It's not going to happen, no.
It's never going to happen. I think they took over, aren't they, prisoners now? Do you think that's what it is?
When you talk about prisoners running the jail, it's if you're not challenging people, they're just going to do what they want.
Have a field day, aren't they?
Do what they want within reason. Obviously, locked behind the doors. But yeah, you know, I saw it at Strangeways my last 6 months. People, because it come a hostile environment, weren't challenging people. You know, a lot of people who do the job have got bottle. I work with officers who've got no bottle, who are fantastic officers. It's team effort end of the day. Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
There was people who would follow you into battle, but wouldn't lead you into battle.
What, behind you? Yeah.
Yeah, which is fair dues, you know. I've got some presents with me. There were a lot of people in there. You know, it's just what it is.
Do you carry a tool that can potentially save a suicidal inmate? I don't know what I mean by a tool.
Yeah, you do. You used to have a fish knife.
A fish knife?
Have you ever seen a fish knife?
Yeah, I have actually.
So, shaped like a fish's head. Mouth is the blade. And what's that made? It's for removing ligatures. So, it has a little hook on the end. So, you can get it, you know, somebody's got something tight around the neck. You can get the hook under it like that. Yeah. I used mine a few times. Once it's used, you have to bag it and tag it. It's evidence in something like that. So yeah, all prison officers now they're carrying parva.
What's spraying it?
Yeah, a baton. If you're in public sector, private sector don't have them, and everyone should be carrying a fish knife as well. Yep. So yeah, we do.
Are there many deliberately set cell fires?
Cell fires, right?
Well, what's the fucking point of the cell fire? I don't understand the logic behind the cell fire. What they try to...
Right.
What's the problem with it?
People protesting would set the cells on fire. There are a lot of arsonists in prison. Cell fires are dangerous.
Absolutely, mate, yeah.
If people are saying at the back of their mind, you've got to think, you know, if you assault an officer, you might get away with it. You might get police charges. Yep. You set a cell on fire, you could get yourself an arson charge. They had a lad on K-Wing when I was there, really bad cell fire, kicked off with staff over medication, a really bad cell fire. He got lifed off. He was already serving a big sentence. He got lifed off.
For the cell fire?
For that cell fire, because what he classed it, it's like reckless endangerment. 200 people on that wing.
Fucking hell.
So a lot of people are weighing that up. So a lot on healthcare, a lot of people are mentally unwell.
Yeah.
Set fires, and then your segregation units and special units, maybe, but there is a risk, obviously.
Yeah. Good deal. Do you find staff are generally fearful of inmates? Not saying all, but some.
The honest ones, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think it'd be stupid if you weren't scared of anyone.
Yeah.
Potentially, you know, there were not a lot of staff who were proper odd bastards who, I don't know, I think everyone's got that fear in them, and in that job, you know, like I've always said, you need to be a bit humble.
Yeah, yeah.
And potential's always there.
Dangerous place, isn't it? Very dangerous place.
Very much so. Risk potential is there, definitely.
Yep. There's a question here, but I don't know if this is actually true. It says, why are they televisions in every cell? I don't think they are in every cell, are they?
Again, segregation units and like didn't used to have TVs.
Yep.
Strangeways, they've got TVs, they're behind a screen, I believe, so you can't get to them. You know, perspex screen.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
All right.
So when you go into prison, you go in as on standard regime as a prisoner. So cell, get a TV, you know. Remand prisoner can have shitloads of visits. A sentenced prisoner, 4 visits a month, that sort of thing.
Yep.
Yeah. If you're a bad lad, you get put down to basic. TV comes out for a period of time. If you get enhanced, which is mean, you know, it used to be 3 months, warning free. You're a good prisoner. You could apply for enhanced, and then you could get your PlayStation, which everyone kicks about of. Right. So yeah, as you go into prison as a standard prisoner, you get a TV. If you're in a double cell, you pay 50p for that TV. If you're in a single cell, you pay £1.
So you have to pay for it, yeah?
Yeah, they have to pay for it.
Right, next one. Did you ever get personally approached to carry anything into prison by any inmate? Did you get offered?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forest Bank, last 6 months on F-Wing every day.
Every day?
People don't know you. You get new people coming in, you know. I remember one lad, I got to know him quite well, sadly, over a period of like 15 years. First time he approached me, I didn't know who he were. "You're right, boss?" "Yeah." "You seem friendly." "Fuck off." "What do you mean, boss?" "Just go away."
Yeah, yeah. You know what will come in, don't you?
And here's the thing, like somebody told me, yeah, for every person who says fuck off, go away, you know, stop mithering, sling it.
Yeah.
There's somebody they'll just go around and they will find someone who will take stuff in.
So that leads me into my other question then. If they have approached you, do you have to report that? Do you have to then say...
It depends on the context. If, let's just say you had somebody who was well connected, maybe a gang member, crime family member, who threatened you.
Yeah.
You know, and this has happened, you know, I know where you live, this is where you live, you bring me this in, or else, definitely. You know, you put security, information reporting, or whatever. Most people, like at Forest Bank, they're just trying it on, they do it in a friendly manner, just go away. Yeah. So yeah, you could report it, but it depends on the context, really.
Yes, that's true. Would you ever risk going to prison for committing a crime for any reason? Well, that's a weird one, because I think if somebody hurt your family, you'd be fucking... It's a no-brainer, isn't it?
There's a lot of people who go to prison who are victims of circumstances. For instance, I've known lads who've... My mate was at his own wedding. It was gate crashed by a mob of football hooligans. You know, basically kicking off, tipping the buffet over.
Just being dickheads.
Yeah. Turned into a mass brawl. He got arrested and he got some time for that. Me, like I say, it's spur of moment things, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
That you could risk. I mean, a lot of people go to prison, you know, some lads I know were tough lads, just lived in rough areas and just fight. Yeah. And if you come off better...
Bred into a minute,
yeah, of course it is. So I would hope I never go to prison.
Yep. I'm
However,
outside the door anyway.
yeah, I won't be fearful of it.
No.
Not now.
Not all. No.
No.
Right. Do you respect seeing change in people when they're doing it for the better?
Yeah, definitely.
That's a no-brainer, isn't it? Really.
Yeah,
Everybody's
listen,
to do better is good,
all,
isn't it?
Not all prisons are bad anyway. There's
No.
a lot of prisons I come across who were like sort of decent people.
Just fell into that way of life.
Yeah, definitely. See people change. I've seen a lot of people on out. I saw a lot of people on out when I was still in job in Manchester and that. Change usually, there's something life changing in their life, you know, Mrs. gives them ultimatum or whatever, or they have kids or something like that.
Yep.
The circumstances change.
Everybody's allowed to change, aren't they? Everybody's
Yeah. And on the other hand, there's lads that will always prisons
enjoy it, don't they?
Yeah. Criminality. That one lad, he says it's the thrill of it, Mr. S, you'll never understand it. So prison's just part of my life. And he'd been with his missus 20 year. In that 20 year, probably done 5 or 6 sentences.
It makes sense to me. I can't work it out, can you? Right, last question. This is from me. If you could change one thing about the prison service, what would you do to make it a better place?
Right now?
Yeah.
Enough staff.
Yep.
Right staff, decent staff,
Yep,
staff retention, conditions, so that it's not going to happen, so that they had enough staff to deal with incidents, get prisoners out, get the old dynamic security, staff-prisoner relationships going. And that'd make it a safer place for a start, and then you could build on everything else. So just staffing levels again.
Yep.
Lots of people going different directions, and people have got their own little, you know, some people are about education, reforming this. Just get enough staff.
Yep.
And you need enough staff to be able to get people out and deal with incidents. And that's what happened.
Yep.
They've got enough staff to get people out but not deal with incidents. So
that's staffing levels.
It's going back to dark ages, you know, 23-hour bang up and all that.
It's not good, is it?
Rubbish.
Yeah, it's not good.
It doesn't do anyone any good. It's not going to solve anything. Building more prisons. New prisons now. I saw an article the other day, you know, they're on the recruitment drive. They're looking for people. They try and sell the job. Everyone knows what it is now.
Oh, yeah.
However, young people, 22 to 25 grand a year, depending on hours you sign up for, is probably as good as it's going to get, isn't it? If you're like 18, 19.
I'd say so. Yeah. Do you think there should be a certain age then to be in prison? Do you think you should be over a certain age?
When I was in the private sector, it was 18, then it was 19, 20, 21. I think it's been as high as 25, and then it's back down to taking anybody.
I think 18's too young.
So do I.
To be in working with criminals, high-profile criminals anyway. It's not...
So do I.
You're vulnerable at that age, aren't you?
Yeah. You've got no life experience, but it is what it is, yeah.
No one's going to change, is it?
No.
That's the wrap. That's them all. I enjoyed that, mate. Thank you very much.
No, you're welcome. So, guys, interview tomorrow, Sunday, next Tuesday and Thursday, and there'll be something up next weekend as well. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
I'll see you there.